Hi! Good afternoon! Welcome to my channel! Mimia TV Vlog. My woman is here. Phyllis is here with me. We are eating our lunch. Right, Phyllis? Say hi to them, Phyllis. Hi! Say hi to them, Phyllis. Hi! See? Hi! You see hi? Hi.
So do your homework and go to
Hi daw.
RTE.ie/learn to find out more.
We'll eat my lunch. Bami again. With Litos. Okay? Guys, Litos. Sa akong bami. Muna ko rice, guys. Then akong puston-puston. Awat-awat sa kuan, guys, ba? Sa na. Sa Thailand.
That date on if you want to play along. Today the snowball prize will reach €30,000 for guessing within a minute. But first, we're going to go to the telephone. Today we're staying in Dublin and we're going to speak with Maureen McKenna. So, hi Maureen, how are you today?
I'm grand, excellent, thank you.
Whereabouts in Dublin are you, Maureen?
In Greek Street.
And I know you're a regular player of Telly Bingo because you've been on this program before. When were you on?
About 4 years ago, I think.
And I remember because I think we had a chat about you playing darts. So you're not obviously not able to play the darts anymore at the moment.
No.
So, but how are things going besides that? Are you having a good time?
I am indeed, yes.
You're buying the lucky Telly Bingo tickets. Where did you buy the one that got you here today?
In Costco,
On the
in Almond Square.
That's on the list. Yeah, lovely. And now, as you know, that's what you win a chance to win the big money. How much did you win the last
Mukbang na lang tasod sa balay.
Okay.
Guys, kaya di man takalakaw.
Have you got the money spent already? Do you know what you're going to buy?
Well, I wait and see what I
Di man kalakaw. Mukbang na lang nako.
Before that, who do you want to say hello to?
Kay gauan.
I want to say hello to all my family, my grandchildren, my 11 grandchildren, my 2 great-grandchildren, and I want to tell them the best of luck with the and my grandson in Australia.
Hello to him. Is that everybody you want to mention?
No, I want to say hello to my friend in Father Matthew Square.
Right.
And my friends in Kildare.
They're your dark friends. Right, so those are all the gang. Maureen, now we want you to win money. Let's see how you're going to get on. You got to beat your track record of €1,000. What do you think is going to be on the first one, black or white, Maureen?
White.
White. Good luck.
Kunti ko ang
Let's
get
play the game.
ito.
Now, as you know, there are 10 balls in the drum. 5 of them are white, but 5 of them are black. It will be the same on each guess. You've got a 50-50 chance of being correct. The first ball is coming out. You've asked for white, and it is a white. So you're off to a good start. Well done. We're on to guess number 2. What do you think this one? Black or white, Maureen?
Should we go white again?
Staying with the white. Okay, well the white ball that came out first goes back into the drums, and once again 10 balls.
Her again.
Out comes your second guess. You've asked for a white. The second ball coming out now is... Oh, it's a black, I'm afraid, Maureen. So you're wrong in guess number 2, which puts it all down to the last one here. If you get the last one white, you'll double up your money. What's it going to be on the last one, black or white?
Black.
Black. Good luck. Let's see how that goes. Here comes your final guess, Maureen. The very best of luck to you. You've asked for a black ball, and the final ball is... And it is a black ball, so you've got 2 correct guesses. That's €2,000. You're moving in the right direction, Maureen. Thanks for playing Telly Bingo.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Bye.
Just
check your ticket for this 6-digit number. It's 962284, and that was sold by Dylan's in Feathers on Sea in New Rock.
Hindi lang siya. Diretso na ako siya. Kaon guys. Ako lang palisan ano.
Next Tuesday. But now on to our first goal draw. That's the 4 corner game. You've got to mark off each of the 4 corners on your ticket in 32 calls or less if you want to win.
Darling, you will eat Litos? Litos. You want to eat this one?
No, thanks, Mimi. What I have.
3 and 0.
Thanks, Mimi.
30. Mark it down. We're going to O next. 6 and 9. O 69. Then back to I for 2 and 8 is I 28. B on its own is number 4. B 4. And coming after. N 3 and 5. N 35. Back to B for 1 and 4, it's B14. Then back to N again for 3 and 9, it's N39.
Magmukbang lang ta.
O, all of the sixes, tickety clicks, is O66. G, 5 and 7, G57. Back to O again, 6 and 7, O.
Counter visible as well.
I, 1 and 8 is I18. B, on its own, number 7, B7. And that's followed by I with 2 and 7, I27. G, 4 and 7, G47. Next out is number B, on its own, it's number 5. Give her a quick, B5. Then O, 7 and 5, O, 75. O again, 6 and 1, O, 61. Shaka hang.
What's up, darling?
N, with all the 4s, is N44. I, 1 and 9, is I19. And under the O, 7 and 4 is O74. And that's the first 20 calls today. Here's a reminder of the numbers that we've already called. Now, the important ones for the four-corner game are the B's and the O's. So probably for 4 B's and
Nami.
6 O's. Of course, every number counts when it comes to winning prizes. And last week on Telly Bingo, over €369,000 was won in prize money.
Wow,
So remember
guys.
to get your tickets for your chance to win. But now it's time to get back to this draw. Let's see what numbers are coming out next today. Here comes the next chance. Here comes our G with 5 and 9. G59. G again with 4 and 8. G48. B, 1 and 5. It's B15. B again, 1 and 0. It's B number 10. Next today comes out under O. 6 and 2, number 62, Shatkado. Then O again with 6 and 4, O 64, Shatkakahar. There's a B, unlucky for some people, B13. And under the N, it's 3 and 2, N32. Well, have you won yet? Because it's time to check to see how you and everybody else are getting on today. So far, we've had 4,257 winners in the four-corner game with 19,772 of you waiting on your last corner. Now from here you have 4 chances left. It could
Namin
be
nagkakaon ni
your
Laura
four
sa sitting
corners
room.
to play on. Here comes a B. It's
Sa
on its
TV
own,
room.
number 6. Give it a shade. B6. I, 2 and 6 is I26. Next today, G, 4 and 9, G,
Ako bitang
49.
mami.
And the
Guys,
last chance in the
halang-halang.
four-corner today is O, 6 and 5, O, 65. Okay, let's head back to the board now. and check
Butangan
the
ako
prizes.
og kuan ka
In
nang
today's four-corner game, we had
Chili flakes.
7,310 of you win. You each won €5. Well done. Next up is our X game, where it's your job to make an X on your ticket, like the one that you can see this
Uli ka nung kanon.
You've only got 4 chances left to do that in, and they're coming up right now. Coming out first, it's I, 2 and 4, I24. Following that, it's a B. On its own, number 8, B8.
Daan siya.
N, 4 and 2, N42. And the last chance to make the X today comes out under G, 6 and 0. It's G number 60. Okay, game over again. Let's go back to the board for more prizes. Our X game today saw 244 if you win. You each win €58. Well done. Now we've given away lots of cash so far, but next
Sumaw ko, ha?
one is our snowball. Today that snowball is worth €30,000. You can win or share that if you mark off all of the numbers on your Telly Bingo ticket in 47 calls or less. From here you have 11 more chances, so let's get a move on. O, 7 and 3 is O73.
Paminom mo sa mong TV, oh.
G, 5 and 1 is G51.
Luto.
D, all
Ang luto
the
dire,
ones, 11,
every-
G11, and there's one pair waiting on just 3 numbers.
Udto.
Their ticket, we're going to O,
Alauna,
7
then
and
alas 8.
2, O72.
Kaduha magbulak
G,
na dire.
5 is G55, but there's now one pair waiting on just 2 numbers. What's next is B. On its own, give it a 3. It's B number 3, and there are 5 chances left for the snowball. Here comes 38. Moving to G next. With
Umapil ka na luto-luto, guys.
46.
Nawat ang kagwarta.
2 and 5 is I 25.
Kasigim nagula.
Here comes I,
Kaduha.
all of the twos. Two little girls, quack quack is number 22.
Nga, bingo-bingo.
Well,
Ba't ako
that's
kasabot,
the
anak?
winner. Our snowball of €30,000 has been won. In fact, we have one very lucky winner today.
Hindi ko nagdaya kay katubangan namin yun sa TV. Namula-bula.
And there's one last chance to win today. That's the lucky line. If you've marked
Ramot
four,
is, hindi ko madato, anak. Hindi mo
well
to.
done, you've just won €5. Now tomorrow's lotto jackpot is
Ang tayo mo pala
8.5 million
to. Loto,
euros. Don't
loto.
forget to
Sa akin
that
na.
will be you. That's it for today. We're back on Thursday. See you all then. Bye.
This isn't us. Staying away from everyone.
Keeping our distance as we walk by.
Saying yes to rules and following them.
This isn't us.
Mukbang na ako ang isha. Ganahan mo. Fine. Dili. Okay na.
For everyone.
This is us. What's the
Thank you for watching my channel.
Knowing what we have to do and doing it.
Knowing that we're not there yet, but that we will get through.
Muli akong lula.
Because, well, this is us.
Hold firm.
Paan man ang iya?
The Sky sale is now on, so get award-winning Sky TV and ultra-fast broadband
Upuan.
together from an incredible €50.
Noodles with vegetables.
Enjoy our best ever Wi-Fi and stream all the TV you love in one place. Easy.
The whole world is in your grasp.
Save big with Sky TV and ultra-fast broadband from just €50 a month for 12 months. Search Sky 50.
For reliable, efficient and affordable home heating appliances, trust Grant to heat your home. Think heating, think Grant. Visit grant.eu.
Use your, darling.
Introducing our new range.
Use
of
the
Noor
tissue.
soups.
There's a tissue there. Please put your plate there, darling.
New Noor soups.
Plate, put there.
Try them out today.
Ay, listen there, right?
Yeah, exercise your hands.
Voltarol is a powerful anti-inflammatory that targets the source of pain and provides all-day pain relief. Voltarol, the joy of movement.
Lemsippers help relieve your winter symptoms for years.
Gatalit siya na
Because
mas.
Lemsip can help relieve your cold, flu and chesty cough symptoms, this year is no different. This winter, look to Lemsip.
In our 20s, we were building a home.
In our 30s, we were raising a family.
In our 40s, we thrived.
In our 50s, we put them all through college.
And in our 60s, we had the place to ourselves again.
Now, we're ready for what's
Kung sa
next.
kapon ba kung dito
Life is
tanaw.
in stages. It's about enjoying every one of them. Talk
They
to
got
Spy
charged school.
Finance about a lifetime loan secured against your home. There are no monthly repayments, and you won't have to leave the place you call home. Visit spryfinance.ie.
Are you okay?
0158222580.
For the homeschoolers, don't forget we have Homeschool Hub from 10 to 12 in the morning on RTE2, and you can catch After School Hub at 3:15. Now, Eileen Whelan has the lunchtime news.
Hello and welcome to the 1 o'clock news. The headlines this Tuesday lunchtime. Confirms that level 5 restrictions will be extended until early March with tighter measures on international
Until
travel
March,
to be announced later.
Level 5.
As has been flagged, the restrictions will continue to the 5th of March.
March is the
Disappointed
5th.
at news that AstraZeneca can't deliver on its vaccine promise.
We have very serious
March
commitments
5.
ourselves and the rest of the EU. There are ongoing talks with the country.
Sarado mga tindahan.
And Lidl to open 6 new stores, creating 1,200 jobs around the country. The Taoiseach has confirmed that level 5 restrictions will continue until the 5th of March. Micheál Martin said the overriding objective is to relieve the pressure on hospitals and intensive care units. He added that even with the restrictions extended, there will still be a significant number of people in hospital with COVID at the end of February.
Arriving to Cabinet this morning, Taoiseach Micheál Martin confirmed that level 5 COVID-19 restrictions will continue to March 5th, conceding that the situation in hospitals is still precarious, with staff under continued pressure. He also spoke of the need to tackle non-essential international travel.
Travel is coming down very significantly. It's down to quite low levels now in the last week. And the majority would appear to be Irish people who went on holidays during the Christmas period abroad and that, and we need to clamp down on that. I mean, that is in itself a violation of level 5 regulations that we have in place. So I think overall the combination of measures and the cumulative impact of all of the measures that we take today, I think will have a significant impact.
But opposition parties are calling for a much tougher stance on international travel. Many TDs say it's time for a full 14-day mandatory quarantine for all passengers. This morning, Solidarity People Before Profit reiterated their call for a zero-COVID approach.
We think if we pursue in a serious way a zero-COVID strategy, it is possible to save the summer. And to do, as has been done in New Zealand and other countries, to reopen in a serious way the country, having eliminated community transmission.
The Labour Party and Sinn Féin have stopped short of a zero-COVID strategy, but agree that mandatory quarantine for all international travellers is necessary.
The attempt that the government are looking to bring in hotel quarantine is going to take a number of weeks to get going. Makes absolutely no sense to us. Hasn't explained why that's the case. We believe we could get it going a lot quicker.
Everybody that's arriving at Belfast Airport intending to travel south, their information should be shared in real time with the authorities in Dublin, and those people should be subject to the exact same quarantine requirements as people arriving in Dublin Airport.
Extending COVID-19 restrictions until March 5th will align the Republic with the North, and whilst government are stopping short of a mandatory quarantine for all incoming passengers, they believe additional measures agreed today will help to further discourage non-essential travel. Tommy Meskel, RTE News, Leinster House.
Well, for the latest on this now, let's go to Leinster House and our political correspondent, Micheál Lahan. Micheál, I understand the Cabinet is still meeting on this. Just how big is the challenge facing the government to introduce these new travel reforms?
Yeah, I think it is a significant challenge, and that's part of why this discussion at Cabinet this morning has been so lengthy. Finalising the details and seeing what's required, I suppose, from a legislative point of view, that has been up for discussion as I understand it. But I suppose the big news really, and that is clear, and that is agreed, is that there will be the current level of restrictions in place for another 6 weeks at least, and then the other issue, that issue of international travel, that you will see a tightening of the rules considerably around that, in particular for those arriving without a COVID-19 negative test, and also those coming here from South Africa and Brazil, they're likely to be held in mandatory quarantine. For other people, then the government not going as far as many in the opposition now want them to go, to ensure that you have really strict quarantine rules for everyone else, but there will be a stepping up of the procedures around that to ensure that people, if they say they're going to quarantine and they are going to self-isolate themselves for the next 14 days after arriving here, that will be checked on, and there will be greater powers given around from a legislative point of view to ensure that happens. They're the kind of changes that are likely to be finalised now, I'd say, in the next half an hour.
Quarantine in hotels.
Thank you.
You should be quarantined in the hotels.
According to the latest figures,
don't go in the house.
Meanwhile, the Minister for Health,
directly in hotels,
said the government is very disappointed with the news from AstraZeneca that they are not going to be able to deliver the COVID-19 vaccine according to their commitments. Let's get more on this now from our health correspondent, Fergal Bowers, who's at the Department of Health. Fergal, as we heard there, the case numbers are going down in hospitals, but there's still a lot of pressure on the healthcare system.
Yes, the HSE is saying today that many hospitals are in a crisis situation at the moment, despite the fact that we are seeing case numbers come down. Now today, 1,823 confirmed cases in hospitals. That's a reduction. And then also in the last few minutes, we see 216 patients in ICU. It's a further small reduction. All reductions are welcome in all respects in relation to this epidemic. But also, when we look at the problems in hospitals, it's a mixture of things really. You've got the high patient volumes, but you've also got high absenteeism because staff are sick, and it's physically and psychologically grueling for staff in hospitals. The pressures they're seeing, the HSE says. But thankfully, the hospital numbers are plateauing and will reduce, although that's going to take quite some time.
Fergal, we heard Stephen Donnelly there disappointed at the delay in the AstraZeneca vaccine delivery here. What's the latest on the vaccine rollout?
Well, firstly, the Irish Pharmacy Union say pharmacists believe they've been sidelined in the rollout of the vaccination for over 70s. They say that there's no proper explanation. There's no good clinical reason why it's been exclusively given to GPs to deliver that. And the IPU saying this lunchtime that for the last 10 years, every year, they've delivered the flu vaccination. And why wouldn't pharmacists be involved now at this point, in tandem with GPs in providing that vaccination? Now, the vaccine that will be used is the AstraZeneca one by GPs. And I understand that Ireland now expects to get around 200,000 doses of that AstraZeneca vaccine in February instead of 230,000, and that in March, in the first half of March, Ireland expects to get about 100,000 doses. We don't know what's going to come later on in March. That's quite a considerable drop. Now, we heard today from the Minister of Health, Stephen Donnelly, he's deeply disappointed that the company won't deliver on the vaccine.
We're very disappointed with the news. They're not going to be able to deliver according to their commitments. We have very serious commitments ourselves and the rest of the EU. There are ongoing talks with the company, both in terms of ensuring we get as much volume as possible, particularly in the first quarter when it's really, really important to vaccinate the most vulnerable. And secondly, I'm pushing to have it delivered before the agreed date, which is mid-February. If it's authorised before then, and we hope it's authorised later this week, I want to get it into the country before mid-Feb.
Minister for Health Stephen Donnelly there. Fergal Bowers, thank you. Now, in the Netherlands, police have detained more than 180 people following a third night of violence across several cities. Rioters threw rocks, set fires and looted stores in protest at a night curfew introduced to try and curb the coronavirus.
Yeah, curfew.
For the third night in a row, more than 10 cities across the Netherlands saw violence and looting. Amid ongoing protests against new COVID restrictions introduced at the weekend. A massive police presence in Amsterdam last night broke up a group which had attacked a police vehicle. 10 people were injured in Rotterdam after widespread looting in the city centre. Almost 500 arrests have been made so far this week, and this is what has angered protesters. The first nighttime curfew since the Second World War came into force on Saturday night. Only key workers or those with a medical emergency are allowed out between 9 p.m. and 4:30 a.m., one of the toughest restrictions imposed yet in the Netherlands.
Of course, this is a measure that is really minimizing our freedoms. It's something that we are not used to in this country. But again, I think we have to do everything that's necessary now.
There's a virus out there, but I don't think the world should be shut down for it. I think we should just be. It can be contained, and I think we should be allowed to live our lives and all the chance to do it. I think people should just live our lives.
Schools and non-essential shops across the Netherlands have been closed since mid-December. Bars and restaurants closed 2 months before that. Dutch COVID infection numbers have been falling for a month now, with the latest restrictions introduced because of concern over new variants of the disease. Fiona Mitchell, RTE News.
The findings of a report into the running of mother and baby homes in Northern Ireland will be presented to Stormont today. The report was carried out by an independent research group. Many survivors of the homes are demanding a public inquiry. Well, let's get more on this now from our Northern correspondent Vincent Carney. Vincent, as we heard there, the Stormont executive to respond to this report later this afternoon. What can we expect from that?
That's right, we're expecting a statement at some point this afternoon. That report has been presented to the Stormont executive.
the researchers examined the records of 10 mother and baby homes
Dito
in
na
Northern
nagkaon
Ireland
guys, di ba
and
guys?
4 laundries. Places where thousands of young women and girls were forced to go because of the stigma attached to
Thank
being unmarried
you
mothers.
for watching my
Now, the
channel.
researchers say at least 10,640
Please,
women
please.
and young girls passed
Watch
through
my
the doors of
channel.
the homes they examined, and just over
And
3,500 others passed through the laundries. Now, what's going to happen today is we'll get a statement from the
push
First Minister
the
Orange
button
Foster and Deputy
down.
First Minister Michelle O'Neill at some point this afternoon. A short
Mimiak
time ago, they
Black
held a
TV
Zoom
Black.
briefing conference with
Please
some of the
don't forget
survivors. Also attending that
and
briefing was Belfast
ring
Solicitor
the
Claire McKeegan. Now, she represents
click
a
the
number
bell
of the women, and she
for
says they
updated
are
my
very clear about
videos.
what needs to happen next.
Survivors here in the north are rightly
Thank you
outraged
guys
when they
for
look to
watching
the
me.
south
Bye
and
bye. I
see
love
the
you all.
inquiries,
Bye.
see people telling their truth